Hello everybody and welcome, I am Bricker Boom, and today we're going to see if I can beat the challenge using a single Poliwrath. While I am 99% sure the answer is a resounding yes, there are going to be a few hurdles that we have to cross. The biggest one is its moveset. Now the good news is, we start off with Double Slap, Hypnosis, useless, Submission, and Water Gun, and that's all we learn for a little bit. Actually, that's all we learn until we start getting TMs. The next move that we would technically get by level up is all the way at 51, and all it is Mind Reader. Now, the good news is that we can learn a pretty solid amount of TMs, but even by TM, we don't have the best moveset, but I know that we'll ditch Submission for Brick Break and Double Slap for Return as soon as we're given the option. Granted, that's in 3 gyms and a couple caves, but at least we'll be able to learn Water Pulse on the way, and that's going to be a lot more useful than what Water Gun is. The first gym and the rival battles are probably going to be a breeze, but after that, I think that's when we'll run into a little bit of trouble. But for brief coverage of the rules, we can only use Poliwrath in battle, but outside of battle, we have other Pokemon for HM use. No items can be used in battle, but definitely used outside of that. And then finally, we do use rare candies for level ups. However, we do try multiple times before resorting to that, just to make sure that RNG isn't an issue, and it is just the fact that I need to do more damage or need to take more. But enough preamble. To hop into the challenge, we replace Squirtle with Universal Pokemon Randomizer. This gives the rival Bulbasaur, which will likely be the hardest for us to face. We could have picked Charmander, since Charizard does have that partial flying type, but it's been ages since we've seen Venusaur on screen in one of these challenges, so I figured, let's go with that. With the lab battle, it's hard to lose if we're being honest. Given the fact that we have a fully evolved Pokemon, we use Double Slap, and yeah, its damage isn't great. We do get Growled and then swap to Submission. With every Submission, it's taking a 1 HP away in Recoil, and then the opposing Bulbasaur's Tackle is doing 2 damage a turn. Given the fact that we have a decent amount of HP to start, we can freely continue using Submission until it goes down, winning us a fairly simple battle. It's after this battle that we do remember to look into our ability and nature. We have the Water Absorb ability, which is okay. It can possibly come into play, but most likely it won't be something that we get to take too much advantage of. For our nature, we have a Sassy Nature, which increases special defense but lowers speed. That's not necessarily horrible, but given the fact that a rival has a speedy Alakazam and Arcanine as the game progresses, I can see us having some trouble. But for now, we're going to go ahead and go through the game without too much issue. Again, we have a fully evolved Pokemon, so we just go ahead and head straight for the rival fight. Pidgey is first, and we use Water Gun, taking it to not quite half. Tackle lands a surprisingly solid critical hit, and then we take it to red as Pidgey misses, so then we can take it out. Next up is Bulbasaur, and this early in the game, it still doesn't know any same type moves, so we avoid Double Slap, get tackled, keep slapping, landing some pretty solid hits. We get tackled again, but we still have plenty of HP to spare when Bulbasaur goes down, and that wins us the battle and lets us move on. We go through the forest, and it's a pretty easy trek. We can't one-shot everything very often, but since we have a special attack move, the Cocoon Pokemon aren't too much of an issue. Without too much trouble, it's time to fight Brock, and I'm sure you can guess how it goes. No sense using Submission, since we have Water Gun, and Water Gun takes out Geodude right away. Next up is Onix, and Water Gun takes it out in one shot as well, finishing it off for the first badge. And it's at this time I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel and like the video to appease the algorithm gods. We're sitting at 840 subscribers at the time of writing this, and we're getting ever closer to 1,000. Are you expecting a fossil gag now that I'm almost through Mount Moon? Because along the way I took the Dome Fossil. I know that if I didn't say what I took, you all ask. The fact that my dry bread has said in prior videos he's okay people using the fossil gag makes me happy every time. But now we're in Cerulean, and we have the option to do the rival fight or go to Misty. Given the fact that we have Water Absorb and obviously are going to resist water moves, we go ahead and opt for fighting Misty. Staryu is first, and it uses Harden, and Mega Punch takes it down to yellow, and then we get hit with a soft tackle before we can go ahead and knock it out. Starmie is next, and Swift hits for pretty decent damage. We're thankfully connecting our Mega Punches, and then a third Mega Punch knocks it out, winning us a very easy battle. I'll be honest, I was expecting a win, but I figured that it would at least take a couple tries. Surely, the rival battle will be just as easy. The rival starts with Pidgeotto, and Rock Tomb does some major damage, as the announcer in Pokemon Stadium would say, lowering its speed, and it uses Sand Attack. Amazing. And then we miss getting hit with Gust before taking it down. Bulbasaur is next, and Mega Punch does a good deal of damage, and then we get put to sleep and whipped into unconsciousness. Great. This takes about 5 attempts, and Pidgeotto is always opening up with Sand Attack. Thankfully, this time, we don't get put to sleep by Bulbasaur, and we actually hit our attacks. With those two Pokemon out of the way, there isn't much of a threat on any of his remaining team members, and they can't do anything to us. So the rest of the battle is pretty easy for us, and that allows us to move on to the route above. After the Bill quest, we can make our way down and go to the ship. Given the fact that the rival gave us some trouble, but didn't require a level up, I don't worry too much about the passengers on the ship. I mostly just fight the additional trainers to get the ether, and then make our way to the rival fight. The good news is, if we have any issues and have to level up, there's plenty of trainers here inside to practice on. Pidgeotto is first, and we open with Rock Tomb, taking it down a one-shot. Next up is Kadabra, who's physically frail, so a Mega Punch is enough to take it out in one shot. Now the hard part is Ivysaur, and it goes to red from a Mega Punch, and we do get sleep powdered. Vine Whip hits hard, and we do wake up after a nasty crit, so we are able to finish it off. With Raticate, I don't want to give it any kind of chance to hit us with Hyper Fang, so we use Submission, knowing that we can likely tank the recoil damage, thankfully finish it off in one shot, and then end the battle with about 20 HP to spare. We show the captain our doctor degree from Kanto University, and I just had this thought because apparently I had to play a game 50 plus times to notice, but where's the truck that Mew is hiding under in Gen 1? Did the game devs take it out because so many people got upset? Or am I bringing this up to distract you all from the fact the trash can puzzle took me a while to get through? The world may never know. Voltorb and Pikachu go down to a single water gun, and then Raichu takes about a fourth of damage from water gun, and then just goes down to a Mega Punch. In the interest of honesty, this did take 2 tries. We couldn't land a single Mega Punch to save our lives, got confused, got paralyzed, and just kept missing and smacking ourselves like it was our job. But now, it's time for us to do some traveling and figure out our next moves. As always, during this time travel, I always promote my other content, so make sure that you check that out, what we have going on with this channel. We have a bi-weekly podcast called Scheduling Conflicts, and we have plenty of older content if you want to help with the watch hours, and we have an active Discord community with plenty of Pokemon lovers. And a Patreon I remember to update today. Spoiler alert, it's April 26th. I may not update it between now and then, but hey, at least I remembered. Links for all that will be in the description below, and we're going to go ahead and hustle to Celadon City and update our moveset. While Brick Break is a little bit weaker than Submission, it's got 100% accuracy, and most important, we don't take any recoil damage. And then, it's time to fight Giovanni. With Giovanni, he sends out Onix first, so we use Water Pulse to take it out in one shot. Next up is Rhyhorn, and it also goes down to a single Water Pulse. The last he has is Kangaskhan, and it uses Fake Out to flinch us. Next turn, we connect with Brick Break, taking it to what I'm guessing is 1 HP. Mega Punch doesn't do much damage, and in true overkill fashion, we use another Brick Break, knocking it out, and that lets us move on. Now, I could go try to face Erica, and given the fact that she would be able to deal super effective damage to me, I choose to head to a battle that I stand a chance in, and go to the rival and challenge him instead. Pidgeotto is first, and we open with Rock Tomb to take it out in one shot. Next up is Kadabra, and we still outspeed at this point, so we're able to take it out with a single Mega Punch as well. Ivysaur is out, and we land a Mega Punch to take it to yellow, and for some reason it doesn't put us to sleep, and just opts to attack, which definitely does some decent damage before it goes down. Gyarados is up, and given the Intimidate, that may be a bit of an issue going forward without any hard-hitting special moves. For now, though, we miss, get hit with Thrash, and then deal decent enough damage with Rock Tomb and lower its speed. It still outspeeds us and thrashes us, confusing itself, and then we can take it down next turn. Last up is going to be his Growlithe, who also has Intimidate, lowering our attack even more. So we swap over to Water Pulse, dealing that super effective damage, knocking it out, and letting us move on. After taking care of the rival, we can go ahead and head through the rest of the tower, and then we run over to Erica after grabbing Return. Return takes Victory Bell to yellow, and then it misses Stun Spore as Erica heals up. We continue with Return, taking it back to yellow before taking it down. Up next to the plate is Tangela, and we use Return again, taking it to red as it poisons us. Honestly, between Poison and Paralysis, I'd probably rather deal with Poison, because then we can at least guarantee that we're going to get our turns. Finally, we have Vileplume after we take out Tangela, and we're on a timer as the poison damage begins. Return takes it to a little below half as it hits hard and heals up with Mega Drain. Poison damage ticks away, and we use another Return, taking it down, and thankfully winning the battle pretty easily. 4 badges down, and I have a few concerns about the rest of the game. Overall, the limited move pool is starting to weigh down on us. Poliwrath does pretty alright with physical attacks, obviously, but admittedly, I'm scared to give too much of anything when it comes to special attacks. This could be an issue for us as we go to the back half of the game, but we'll see how things go going against Koga. Coughing is first, and we take it to yellow as a sludge does a little bit of damage. We swap over to Water Pulse, and that knocks out the Coughing. Muck is next, and we continue with Water Pulse, hoping for confusion and thankfully getting it. Muck uses Minimize, and we swap over to Return, hoping for some more damage that way, and take it to yellow. Unfortunately, this is the exact moment we don't want Muck to hit itself in confusion, and it does because that takes it into healing range. Koga heals up, and we can take it back to red, and with a few returns, we knock it out. With the second Coughing, we take it back to yellow, and ultimately getting poisoned with Sludge before we take it down. Last up is Wheezing, and we can return it, get hit with Sludge, return once more, but then between the Sludges and the poison damage, we end up getting taken down. Now this takes a few too many attempts, but the beginning of the battle goes about the same every time. The main difference is, in this particular attempt, we do the damage play properly, so Muck doesn't actually get the chance to heal, so we can take it down without actually taking any damage ourselves. Then, when the second Coughing is out, we take it down. When Wheezing is out, we finally do get poisoned with Toxic after hitting it. We take it to yellow as it hits with Smokescreen. Thankfully, the Smokescreen doesn't affect us, and we hit it with one final shot, so we can take it down for an 8th try victory and avoiding way too much Toxic damage. Now, I could cover Silphco, because we went there and we tried to start the rival fight, but just a quick look at the footage will show you it's just not worth it to actually cover. Razor Leaf is absolutely wrecking us, so we should go ahead and set sail for Cinnabar. Given the fact that we have type resistance, we should be okay. I'm curious, though. What do you guys think about the Fallout 4 update? Apparently, a lot of people were experiencing bugs with the program as if it's not expected with Bugfesda. Oh yeah, it's time to fight Blaine. Blaine sends out Growlithe first, and we open with Return, taking it to red, and Blaine hits us with Fire Blast, then heals up. We swap Surf to our first move and knock it out with a single shot. Surf then one-shots Ponyta, Rapidash misses Fire Spin, and then goes down. After that, Arcanine goes to red, and Blaine heals up, and we can take it out a few turns later to win the battle. Back to Silphco. Pidgeot is first, so we open with Rock Tomb, taking it below half as Wing Attack hits. We swap over to Return, and that is enough to take it out. Alakazam is next, and given it's physically frail, it does go down in one return. Venusaur is out, and we hit it hard with Return below half, and Razor Leaf misses, which is what lets us take it down. Gyarados is out, and we can't hit with Rock Tomb, doing decent damage despite the Intimidation drop. Leer misses, and we take it to low yellow as Twister pings us for damage, and then it goes down to another return. Growlithe is last, and we use Surf, taking it down in one shot to win the battle. Giovanni is easy compared to the rival, and goes to a sliver with Nidorino, and then goes down with another Surf. Nidoqueen gets hit to red with Surf, and Double Kick barely does anything to us before going down. Kangaskhan is next, and we swap over to Brick Break, taking it out in one shot. The last Pokemon is Rhyhorn, and we can take it down with a single Surf, winning us a very easy battle. I wonder how we'll do against Sabrina, given the fact that if she outspeeds us, we are going to get absolutely rolled. And speaking of roles, as a YouTuber, I promise I will never give you up or desert you. I may make you cry, but we'll never say goodbye. But it is time to say goodbye to Sabrina. We do end up outspeeding the Kadabra, and it goes down to a single return. Next up is Mr. Mime, and return wrecks it. Alakazam is up, the scariest of them all, and only uses Calm Mind rather than attacking, so we can take it out with a single return as well. Afterwards, the only thing left is a Venomoth, and even though I did do a solo run with it, oh, it lived. And Sabrina heals. And then heals again. And then it goes down. One more badge to go. With Giovanni, I'm gonna be honest, I got nothing exciting to say here. It's a one-shot sweep. I love Giovanni, but as a final gym leader, it's not the best typing, though admittedly, unless you're doing a mono-type Nuzlocke or a solo challenge, by gym 3 or 4, you probably will have an answer for every gym leader, especially in the Kanto region. But I won't complain about an easy battle because I have to admit, I don't think the rival fight will go too easily. The rival sends out Pidgeot, and we use Rock Tomb and then knock it out with Surf. For whatever reason, I try knocking out Alakazam with Surf, but that gets disabled. Then we nearly get one-shotted afterwards. We take it out, but barely, and then Venusaur finishes us off. Now, there's good news and bad news with that. The good news is, even when I don't do that, the Venusaur is still able to absolutely wreck us. The bad news is, even if I don't do that, the Venusaur is still able to absolutely wreck us. I'm not too surprised, and honestly, we've had little trouble since the Cerulean City rival fight, and only a few losses here and there since then, so we do end up leveling up and trying again. At level 60, Pidgeot goes to yellow, hits us, then goes down. Alakazam Calm Minds, only to go down to a single return. With Venusaur, we use return, and it's still hitting pretty hard, but thankfully we get a crit to hit harder and knock it out. After that, Growlithe and Rhydon are both an easy one-shot. Gyarados sets up Rain, and we start pinging it with return, and it hits us with a water move to actually heal up some of our missing HP, and then it finally goes down, and now we just gotta see how we do against the Elite Four. Here's a quick look at our stats before we go on to the Elite Four. Overall, it's not too bad. The defense is thick, and the special isn't horrible. Honestly, I had figured that our regular attack would pull away further from our special, but I suppose that's enough stalling. Let's go ahead and see how we do against Lorelei. Dugong is up first, and with us having Brick Break, I feel a lot better about our chances. Brick Break hits hard to take it down to red as it sets up Hail. Lorelei heals, and we can take it down 2 turns later. With Slowbro, 2 Earthquakes do the job since it only bothers with setting up Amnesia. Cloyster literally wastes time with Protect, but it goes down easy enough. Jinx likes to put us to sleep, but we can hit it hard enough before and after the sleep turns to make it an easy fight. Last is Lapras, and we can take it below half as the berry activates. However, Body Slam, for what feels like the first time in a million runs, doesn't paralyze us, so we can take it out for a surprisingly easy first try victory. I could sob, given how much trouble we usually have. Bruno time. Bruno starts with Onix, and those two are going to be a one-shot, and he sends both out one after the other. Hitmonchan goes down to 2 Surfs. With Hitmonlee, it doesn't take as much damage from Surf, so we swap over to Return and take it out after getting hit with an attack. With Machamp, Surf takes it to red, and the berry takes it out of healing range as it uses Scary Face. It uses Cross Chop, thankfully not getting the critical hit, and then goes down to a Surf. This is going surprisingly well. Let's see how we do with Agatha. The answer is not great. Gengar goes to yellow with Surf and hits 2 Sucker Punches before going down. With Golbat, it has Air Cutter, and between that and smacking ourselves, it can make short work of us. Even with swapping out Brick Break for Ice Beam, we can't get through the remainder of her team. Between Curse, Air Cutter, Hypnosis, Nightmare, Dream Eater, it's a mess. At level 70, we take it to yellow with Surf as Gengar double teams, and thankfully we can then take it out. With Golbat, we can now outspeed it and take it out with 1 Ice Beam. Then is Haunter. We hit it with Surf for a one-shot. Gengar goes below half, heals up, and does land a Hypnosis before hitting us with Sludge Bomb. However, we get a very early Wake Up, and we can take it down with Surf. Last is Arbok, who goes to yellow, hits us with Sludge Bomb, and then goes down to an Earthquake. Great. Lance time. Gyarados goes to below half with Ice Beam due to a crit, then to red as Lance heals up. It's basically pinging us with Dragon Rage, and we do get Hyper Beamed once, but then it goes down not too long after. Aerodactyl hits hard, but goes to red, and gets frozen, so we can take it out. Surprisingly, we actually outspeed the Dragonite, and take it out in one shot. And then both Dragonairs are kind enough to go down to one shot apiece, and that actually wins us the Lance battle. I figured that was going to take at least a few times. Now, the rival battle, that doesn't go quite so well. Pidgeot likes to open up with either Sand Attack or Feather Dance, and both of those basically wreck any attempt that we have. We go down time and time again, whether it's due to Alakazam's Psychic, or we can't take down the Venusaur in time, and Solar Beam wrecks us. If we get incredibly lucky with the freeze, we still can't beat it at a lower level. The most consistent way to be able to beat this is take Pidgeot down in one shot before it has the chance to soften us up for the rest of its team. At level 80, this is what happens. We take Pidgeot to a sliver and freeze it, so even though the rival ends up healing up, we can take it down without having to get Sand Attacked or Feather Danced. Alakazam sets up Reflect and hits hard with Psychic before it too goes down. With Venusaur, we swap over to Ice Beam since the Reflect is still up, taking it to red as the berry takes it out of healing range and it sets up Growth before going down. After that, Rhydon goes down to a single Surf as the Reflect finally wears off. We use a few Ice Beams as Gyarados pelts us with attack after attack before it too falls. And then last is Arcanine, which goes down to a Surf, winning us the battle and the run. That was a fun run, despite Poliwrath being the least of my favorite form of the three, well, I guess now 4 of the Poliwhirl line. The moveset made it a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but it was still a lot of fun. I have an idea in mind trying to beat the game with a particular disobedient Pokemon from the anime, but that'll take a little bit of time because I'm going to have to do some chicanery to make that work out. Either way, thank you all for hanging out. I'm not completely sure what I want to do next week, but I do know I'm already melting in this heat. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Friends, Discord, Patreon, Twitch, you know the drill by now. But most importantly, if you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.